everyone. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And please help me welcome my wonderful co host, Cleo The Seer,
Hi.
and welcome to Kitchen Table Issues. Pull up a chair, bring your favorite beverage. We'll have some conversation. We'll talk about things. So, how are things in your corner of the world, Cleo?
They're pretty good. A little bit chilly. We've had finally a little snow up the mountains, but not really so much in the regular, like in Seattle proper. There's not been anything going on, but we might get some. But the temperature has been kind of cold at night and it gets up into the 40s during the day. So, yeah, that's good. We survived around here. We survived the holidays. So I'm glad of that. And, yeah, just looking forward to today's show.
Me
And oh, and
too.
then I should mention that tomorrow we have the Cool Crone Oracle,
Yes,
and I think Marina, you're in on that too, right?
I am too. I
Yeah.
am
So
too. Should be
really,
loads of fun.
you can see both of us tomorrow as well as today. God, that's a
You
gift in
lucky
itself.
people. Yeah, you lucky, lucky folks. So yes, thank you for joining us. And uh just quickly going to say hello to Liz, Connie B, Barb Fisher, Debbie Smith, Rose Blue, Forever Blues, Barb Pet, Teacher Barbara, Mousy Girl, Wood Sprite, Laura Craft, Annie's Gifts, Mimi Nee, hello. Did I say Kathleen Bourgeois? Well, I'll say it twice. Teacher Barbara. Red Gypsy says hello from Calgary. Hey, hello from Calgary as well. What part of Calgary are you in? And yeah, W. Smith, there we are for those. Yeah. Leah T. Garden Chicken. Hello, Teresa, for being here. Uh, there you go. Yes, so nice to have all of you um, joining us. And oh boy, I don't know. Oh, downtown in Earlton. Ah, perfect. I'm in Mackenzie Lake. So yeah, I know where Earlton is. Very nice downtown. Yeah. Okay, so uh, I'm sure that most of you have been paying attention and hearing all kinds of things out in the news, all kinds of things um, that are meant to ultimately distract you from the one thing that you should be paying attention to. And I know we've said it before. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. That's what the country should be focused on.
And Jack Smith.
And Jack Smith. Yes, there is. It's Trump lies like a sidewalk. That if that man's lips are moving, you know he's telling you a lie about anything and everything. And I was reading I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday or earlier today, I can't remember, that the DOJ was supposed to release all the Epstein files by December 19th. All of them. Everything. Pam Bondi said she had it all on her desk. And that was way back last year. What have they released so far? What have they released? They have released 12,285 documents, which consists of 125,575 pages. There are still over 2 million documents to review. What the DOJ has released is 1/6 of 1%. 1/6 of 1%.
Well, they're just a little behind. They'll get to it. Then
Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
750 attorneys to help go through this stuff, and if they can't do yeah, it just seems like they should be able to do that rather quickly, but we'll see.
You would think. And, I think in my effort to, to help the cause and help them release, I think I'm going to be sending an email to Miss Bondi, and I'm going to suggest that, oh my goodness, all the ICE agents that you have all over the US, bring them in. Let them do part of the paperwork. Let them go through, and any time that they see a name or something, they can highlight it and then pass it on to a lawyer, right?
Right,
Would
right. Well, and because they're just as, knowledgeable about how to do that as they are about how to be an agent for home is it for Homeland Security or what?
Yeah,
For
Homeland
ICE, for
Security.
ICE, for ICE.
Yeah, ICE, yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
just the lamest group of people. Yeah, so bring them in. Why not?
Exactly. Give them
If
something to do. Obviously, people don't want them in their neighborhood. They're not doing the job that they're supposed to. The numbers that not Pam Bondi, Puppy Killer
puppy
is
killer.
quoting are just. There's been an 8,000% increase. Oh, bitch, shut up. There has not. Like, yeah, it's that part of it makes me really, really mad,
Yeah, really, really.
right? Yeah, and anything that they say is a lie. So my feeling, and I don't know about anybody else, but my feeling is that no, we are never going to see the full Epstein files unless another country steps in and they release them. And then the DOJ has, it kind of forces their hand. But at this point, I think that they are sitting back. They know that Trump's days are measured by hours now. And as soon as he has transitioned, it's going to be, oh, well, you're right. Here's all the stuff. Oh, we never knew how bad he was. But now that he's, on the other side, we can't charge him with anything. So case closed. Thanks for showing up.
Case closed. Well,
Right?
I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of people predicting that kind of thing. Again, I'm hoping that he does not pass.
Mm,
I'm hoping that he has to face the music. I'm hoping that they get a chance to bring him before Congress or I don't care who a judge, I don't care who it is.
I know.
And say this, you've been lying, lying, lying. This is what you've been doing. And then bring up the Jack Smith stuff. I mean, Jack Smith has laid it on the line and
Yeah.
he has positive proof that Trump knew that the 2020 election was not rigged and that he lost. Uh, he wouldn't admit that, but I mean, it's in the
Yes.
evidence. And also the thing about the documents at Mar-a-Lago, uh, all of this stuff. It's just amazing, amazing what Jack Smith brought up. I am so excited
Yes.
about that.
Yes. Yeah. I think I think he knows what he's talking about. And I think, ultimately, ultimately, we're going to find out everything that's gone on. How quickly we find out, that's kind of the questions. And Barb Fisher says, do other countries really have all the files? Why don't they go ahead and release them? That confuses me. I absolutely understand that, Barb. And it it to some extent would confuse me too. But here's the deal. Politics is a dirty game. Politics is a matter of not so much doing the right thing. It's appearing to do the right thing. Very similar to law. There is no justice in law. It's just who has the better argument. So for the countries that do have the files, and I believe Russia is one of them that has absolutely the full files and then some, they can use those files to get Trump to do things that benefit them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Donald, we need nuclear secret. I will let this file go if I don't get the nuclear secret code. And what does he do? Being the weak-willed individual and the coward he is, he says, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself." Same thing with some of the other countries, with like Saudi Arabia, um, with China and any of those countries. They're using it as bargaining chips. And as long as they can get something out of him, they're going to continue to use it. When when it appears that there is no longer anything that they want from him, then they might start releasing little bits here and there, right? So yeah, right now, China might be sitting on the information because they have Trump went into Venezuela and he
He took
kidnapped the
their
leader.
oil. He took their oil, and that takes the oil away from Russia and China.
Yes,
And going back to the Epstein files, I'm curious of why did the other countries have this kind of information?
it's compromat. It's I mean, part of doing the diplomatic thing is getting information on other governments and knowing when to use that information.
So do you think
Because
Epstein himself maybe handed over certain information to people because he's constantly finagling to make more money or to
yes,
help them make more money? And so he would
I
just
think
tell
so.
them certain things. I mean, it sounds to me like Epstein knew a whole lot more than we ever assumed.
Yes,
He was definitely involved in a lot of things worldwide that we weren't aware of. We were not aware of
yes,
that. So,
yes. Yeah, yeah. I think that and of course, entertainment purposes only. What do I know? I'm just a tarot reader. I think that Epstein was an agent, and I think he was an agent for Mossad. And I think that he also did counterintelligence like for Russia and maybe even some other countries. Who knows? Because he had access to a lot of information about a lot of people. And very often I could, coming out with a story, you don't necessarily always have to have all the facts. As long as the story is good and as long as the story is partially believable, it leaves a bad impression with people. So even those people who might have been involved with Epstein who didn't do anything wrong, they did business with him as a financial advisor, or the guy who puts money people together. There's lots of those around the world.
yeah, yeah.
So the fact that just because someone went went to his house doesn't mean that they were involved in what he was involved in, but the perception, the look, right?
Well, and
Well,
there's gotta be a reason why he's taken thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures of everybody.
yes,
And I
everybody.
yeah, and then the more I think about that, yes, that fits right in with him using he could blackmail people. He could blackmail
Yeah,
countries. So,
absolutely.
yeah, so that I guess that's how the information got out there, through
Yeah,
him.
yeah, 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 because really diplomacy, that's very often. And it sounds horrible, but that's what diplomacy is. That is, we're going to have a conversation. I want something for my country. You want something for your country. I'm going to try to get the upper hand on you. We could do it in a very friendly discussion, like most people do. Well, I would hate for this to get I would hate for this information to get out. So I am sharing this information with you. And, for an extra 1/4%, I can keep my mouth shut. I can make that go away.
Yeah, that
It's
is the
that
kind
kind of thing.
I can see that kind of a conversation taking place.
Yes. Yeah, and that's basically what they do. Yeah, Amanda says, "I want to know what the picture was that that the Saudis showed Trump shortly after he was inaugurated last year. He took it and immediately put it in his pocket." Yes, and he looked at it, and the look on his face said it all. And the look on his face was like, "You bastards!" Boom. Right? I think that they were just letting him know, hey, hey, I have no idea who is in this picture, but
And what
it
does
means
this mean?
something to you. Yeah, it
Yeah.
means something to you. My friend Boris gave it to me and said, "Here, give it to Donald. He'll think it's a joke." You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just boys being boys, right?
But
So,
he did not think it was a joke.
yeah,
Uh,
no, they're 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 very serious in what it is that they're doing.
so was it a picture of Trump with a very young girl? Was it a picture of Trump with somebody that maybe we think that he shouldn't be, rubbing elbows with? Somebody from some
Yeah,
other country? Um,
yeah.
it could be so many things because you know that Trump is just he over the years before he ever became president, he loved to get his face in the news and, he wanted to be on TV and he did all that with The Apprentice and
Mhm.
so, yeah. Yeah, so
Yep.
it would be very easy to get an incriminating photo of him.
Yes, absolutely. And today with AI, oh my God, you can pretty much make him look like he's doing anything.
Well, and I'm wondering if he doesn't use that as an excuse. That wasn't me, that was AI. Because AI is so,
Yeah.
realistic. And
Yeah.
until you start getting used to the whole thing, and then you start to notice what do you look for ANI, which by the way, for anybody that's been looking at some of these videos on YouTube of like Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom and some other people that maybe aren't as well known, um, you need to read in the description of that video. It will say something. I can't remember how they word it, but it'll say something to the effect that this has been altered in some way. And as soon as you see altered in some way or edited,
Yeah.
but they may come right out and say AI. Uh, that means that they put that together, and it's not really Kamala Harris. It's not really Gavin Newsom, especially the one with Kamala Harris saying that there's been 50 Republicans that came over to their side. No, that has not happened yet. Um,
Not
I
yet.
do I do see something big like that possibly happening in the future, but um, you just be careful when you see those things because it's very, you start seeing and you're thinking, this is exactly what I thought would happen.
Yes.
And but it's not true yet. So yeah, I hate to burst
Yeah.
people's bubble, but that thing with the 50 Republicans really gave it away, and plus, when you see Kamala, her personality is not reflected in that video because they're using the, artificial intelligence to make that happen.
Yeah. Ex- exactly. Exactly. So, right now it's all a matter of perception. So yeah, guard your intuitive powers and ask yourself, who is sharing this information with me, and what is it that they want me to believe? And then you can look at it sometimes more critically, right? What's the main message? What are they trying to sell me, right?
Well, and
And that's
Gavin Newsom does put out some really cool videos. But then
Yes.
somebody else has added this AI thing to make it a little kind of stepping
Yeah.
over a line. I wish they wouldn't do that because the stuff that Gavin Newsom really has said is very pertinent and what
Yes.
we're waiting for. And he seems to really be out there fighting to let everybody know what Trump is doing. So
Yeah.
don't be fooled by the AI stuff, but
Yep.
look for yourself. Be sure to look in descriptions and everywhere you can within those
Yep.
videos to see if they're real or not.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Go to a source. When you see something that is it, a little questionable, um, yeah, Google it. Go to a couple different sources. And I hate to say it, but for most of you in the US, do not go to US news because you're going to get a skewed view. Um, Go to like the BBC, go to Al Jazeera, go to AP News, any of the international news outlets. Check it out on there because chances are very good that they'll actually have more information and more of the truth than because legacy media in the US is yeah, they're
Not
pretending
real
that
or
they're
what?
saying yeah,
Not real.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you really
So
have to check these things because even I kind of fell into it, and then I was telling my sister about some of this stuff, and she got a hold of somebody else, and then anyway, she came back and she goes, "No, those are not real." And I
yes.
said, "Well, okay, now I'm
They
gonna
sure
recheck
look
it." So
real.
they did. So that's why I
Yeah,
went through. And one thing you need to look at is who is producing the video. Um,
yes.
and if you see that Gavin Newsom is constantly producing a video by one name, and now suddenly there's another name, yeah, there's something going on there. And also the way the people are kind of flat. Their personalities don't come through on AI. So
Yeah,
just things to look forward to.
yeah. Hey, Rusty
Wow.
Girls Wow says, yeah, federal agency shot two people in Portland, Oregon, but not sharing what happened.
Today,
Yeah, you
let's
can.
talk about
Yeah,
let's talk about ICE and what they have done recently where they
yes,
shot somebody in the head. Uh,
yes,
a woman who'd absolutely
yes. Absolutely.
deserve it. She was trying to
Renee Nicole Good. Renee Nicole Good,
wow.
37 years old.
With kids,
Initially,
with a family.
yes, with family. Yeah. And that kind of it confused me a little bit because initially I heard three kids, and then the last day they've been talking about well, and her son is now an orphan because he has lost both his parents. So I wasn't sure if the two other children are much older, but she's only 37. So, it's not like I don't think that they would be adults. So, in any case, we've seen several videos from several different angles, and the story that Puppy Killer came up with almost immediately was so outlandish that yeah, the mayor, I think it was the mayor who called it bullshit. And yeah, I
And
absolutely.
across the country, like I
Yes.
said, that there's a retired, uh, chief of police in Washington State that came out and said, "No, this is not how law enforcement works. You don't go running behind a car or in front of a car, ever."
Yes.
And
Ever.
there and Trump came right out and said that the woman tried to hit him or tried to take his life or some ridiculous thing, and he
Tried
said
to
it
run him over.
well, we had just seen the video on the news, and that is not at all what happened.
Yeah.
And, like, Marina and I were talking about before we came on, that she was saying that, the woman backed up to get out of the way, and then she moved forward to get out of the way. She wasn't running from anything. She wasn't trying to hit anybody. She wasn't trying to run
No.
somebody over. And for that, she got shot in the head by an idiot who doesn't know what he is doing. And Trump doesn't
Yeah.
care that they're hiring idiots that don't know what they're doing. He loves that. Oh, look.
Yeah.
And he lied right off the bat. I could not believe it after the video is shown and then he comes out and lies like that when we just saw it. And I'm questioning, what did I just see? I didn't see anything like that. Well, that's because,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly. She the for the videos that I've seen, and I can only go by what I myself have seen, okay, was she was she was kind of perpendicular on the road. There was a convoy of ice um, ice vehicles, okay, and she was impeding their passage, which that is a peaceful protest. You can do that, right? She was impeding their passage, but she didn't have any weapons. She wasn't threatening anybody. She was just kind of in the road, like, oh, sorry, my car
and they
just
were
died.
threatening her. The guy's coming
Yes,
at her, trying to jerk open the door and trying to get through the
yes,
window. And
yes.
crazy.
They started off when they first got out, a couple of the guys were yelling at her to move, 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 move. And as she was saying something to one of them, the second one went over to her car and tried to open the door. And I mean, he was forcefully trying to open the door. That is when she put it in reverse, and you could see her reversing, and then puts it in park and starts to go forward, and her wheels are turned. She is turning to the right. At that point, because she basically went from a stop, right, from reverse to park to drive, what was she going? 3 miles an hour, five miles an
And she's
hour,
going in the wrong direction to hit
in
the
the
guy.
wrong direction when this guy
Craziness.
pops 3 bullets into her. Someone then, and of course her car goes forward and it hits another vehicle, and there she is. Someone was taking the video at that point. There was a man who was saying he wanted to run over, um, and yeah, you could see her slumped over the steering wheel. And a man was saying, "Let me help, let me help." And the ICE agent was like, "No, we got this under control. No, step back." And he said, "Let me check for a pulse. I'm a physician. I'm a physician." And no, 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 we got our own people here. No, just no, stay back. Don't get in here. Yeah. And then a woman one of the neighbors came out and said, "Where are your people? Where are your medics? Where? What are you doing?" Don't worry about it. No, being very, very calm, very, we got this. We're big men on the street. So would she have died eventually? Who knows? Would a doctor's intervention at that point have helped her? Who knows? But the possibility's there. So not only is
But
the man
that's
who,
the whole purpose of that thing was to make sure nobody got any more information from it.
yes,
They didn't want some doctor that was not related to ICE coming in and saying, "Yeah, she was shot in the head." They did not want that, and they knew what
no,
had happened. They knew what they had done.
yes,
And these guys that work for ICE, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. Horrible.
it is, it is, and yeah, what Christy Nome said about, oh yeah, this has been a nice agent for 10 years. You know what? I don't care if you've been an ICE agent for 10 minutes or 10 years or 100 years. There are ways to do your job. Shooting someone as they are getting out of the way, as they have been instructed to do by other of your fellow agents. Yeah, that tells me that you're a little trigger happy. That
And
tells me
they're
you
gonna
know.
change that story. They're gonna change that
Oh,
story.
of course. They they did already. Oh, yeah, she went and she hit him, and the poor man had to be rushed to hospital. He had to be seen by a doctor and tended to by a doctor. He
Did
was
that
released
ever
a little while
happen?
later. Did did he go
No.
to the hospital? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe
No,
they carted him
he was,
away.
is he the same guy that shot her?
Yes.
Well, no, nothing happened to him.
No.
He didn't go to a hospital. And Joan Baker says, "It reminds me of their lies about January 6th. We all saw what
Yes.
happened with our own eyes." And again, that's
Yeah.
exactly the kind of thing this is. The video is out there. We've all seen it, and we know it. Trump comes
Yeah,
out immediately and
exactly.
says, "Well, this
He
is what
wasn't
happens
touched.
when you go after ICE." He's trying to save his own life. He's trying to save himself. Like, no, no,
Yes.
he's not.
Yeah, you see her car go, you see him standing there and he takes a step back. That car really didn't get anywhere close to him. And yes, the red gypsy, yeah, the video shows him walking away.
Yes.
And okay, let's add a little bit of levity. Amanda Ginga said yes, he was seen leaving the hospital with a maxi pad on his ear. Yes. Yeah. So it is entirely possible that they did scoot him away, not because he was in any danger, not because he was hurt, but because, dude, what did you just do? Okay, okay, everybody, here's the story, right? Because let's face it, that's what they do, right? So, yeah, he 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 was not hurt in any way, shape, or form. He reacted because that's just what people who are angry at the world do. So,
And also
in the
he
meantime,
knew those guys know they can get away with murder
yes,
because
absolutely.
Trump is gonna back them up. He wants his ICE agents out there doing their job and taking everybody off the street and putting in concentration camps, and if it requires somebody getting shot, so be it.
So be
So
it.
be it.
So be it.
That guy will
And
not I don't think that guy will. Oh, well, God, I hope they do somebody steps up and says he should be arrested,
he
questioned,
should be
you know.
arrested. He should be arrested.
He
This
just
that, that
murdered somebody for
yes,
no reason.
exactly. Yeah. Left a child an orphan. His father had already died. This woman was a
Yeah,
widow. She was
yeah.
a widow. um yeah, doing the thing that is guaranteed by the Constitution, which is peaceful protest, and you're allowed to do that, or at
Mm.
least you were up until very recently. The the idea right now is, if he is charged on a federal level, then yeah, Trump can go in and say, "Oh no, this is a patriot, a hero. I forgive him. The world forgives you. Let's give him the Nobel Peace Prize." If it's a state, if it's a state um, charge, then he can't go in there and do anything. But it might still be difficult to charge him, even though we've all seen what he did. And what he did was he killed a woman. That's what he did. He killed a woman who was trying to get out of the way.
No,
Yeah,
he murdered a
murdered.
person.
Yes,
And
he murdered.
yes, and so he should, you know what? But I hope that this doesn't provoke somebody to go all rogue and just slit this guy's throat. Um, we just
And
don't want that to happen either,
no,
because as again, Marina had mentioned something before we came on. That's exactly the kind of thing that they would like to have happen, so that Trump can go, "See, I told you that there's criminals everywhere, and so now we're going to clean up the city, and it's time for martial law." I mean,
yeah,
that this is the kind of thing that could revoke something like that, and I just hope and pray that, I know that but everybody is so upset about this, and I can see where some men would just be, "Hey, there's only one way to fix this.
Yes.
An eye for an
That
eye,"
I
you
will,
know?
yeah, I will add to that just a huge, huge word of caution. Um, Shortly after this happened yesterday, there were several news channels that released the name of the quote unquote officer that shot her. And it was released on several news channels, Facebook, a whole bunch of other places. Turns out that it wasn't the person who it was, and or
They
the
named
person
they
who
named
was
the
named.
wrong person, is that
They
what you're
named the
saying?
wrong person. Yes.
Okay.
So, keeping that in mind, like you, I think that he's probably very fearful for his life. Maybe he should be. His family is probably in fear. The people who know him um, probably have their own views on things. So, for the time being, it's not like he got away with something. It's not like it's a slap on the wrist and, oh, that's okay. I'll be at work tomorrow. Let's talk about what happened. No, no, no. Things are going to get very, very, very difficult for him. So the idea that a lot of people could sit back and say, yeah, well, this administration seems to be getting away with everything. Somebody has to step up and do something. We have to, maybe it's time that we meet violence with violence. On one level, I absolutely get that. And there is that desire, that feeling to, I'm gonna put a stop to it. Like an abusive husband, when does he stop beating you? When you fight back, right? That is exactly what Trump and his administration want.
Yeah.
Is they want to be able to come in and say, the country is going into a tailspin. We've got all these things happening and whatnot. We have to declare martial law. We have to, we're suspending all rights and so on. That is ultimately that's their goal. And yes, Joan Baker, they have identified him as of today as Jonathan Ross. That was not the name that was originally attributed to him. And I think that a lot of people have said that it was Christy Nome who actually kind of outed him by saying that yeah, he was in fear for his life because in June of last year he was hit by a vehicle of an illegal immigrant was driving a vehicle trying to get away from him, from ICE. He was going to be deported, and that this officer was dragged and whatnot.
Are you
And
kidding
that's
me?
why
Is
he
that
feared for his life.
is that the story they're trying to tell us now? He just
That's
reacted because he went through a similar situation and he was afraid for his life. Get him off of there. Get rid of him. Fire
yes,
him. Why in the
yes,
world would you keep somebody on that's already freaked out and going to do something irrational because something happened somewhere else that had nothing to do with this? No.
exactly. It's not
He's
an excuse. It's
it's
not an excuse. And
It's
so,
criminal to even have that guy on there. I mean,
yes,
this is just
yeah,
dumb.
yes. And Mousy Girl, I don't know if it was 6 years ago. I know that this particular Jonathan Ross was named in paperwork that was filed by the DOJ regarding the accident, and I think it was on like June 16th or 17th of 2025. So, could Christy Nome be throwing his name out just to get people off the scent? Nothing would surprise me.
Yeah, really.
Nothing
That's
with this.
exactly what I thought when I just read that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
she would just do that and go, "Oh, whoops. Oh, never mind."
yeah.
Like they're doing with
Sorry.
everything, you know. "Oh, boy, okay, it's this and it's that. Oh, maybe it's
Yeah,
not. Oh, okay, well, whatever.
yeah.
Too late now. I
So,
already said it."
yeah, yeah. I was misquoted. That's not what I said.
That too.
Yeah, yeah. Rewrite history.
But, you know, when
Yeah.
we take all these things and accumulate all this crap that's been going on already in 2026, but yes, going
Yes.
back to December and before, uh, this is just building, 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 building.
Yes.
Something is gonna break. Um,
Yes.
you know, I mean, we just can't keep up with the same kind of thing. I was reading that Tim Walz, you know, he's not gonna run for governor again. Why? Because he is being constantly threatened, and so is his family. And it's forcing
Mm,
him not to run for the office that he's done an amazing job with. It would have been a 3rd term for him, and he doesn't dare do it because he's not gonna risk his family over something like this.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
these kind of things keep popping up, you know, and he took away all the Secret Service for all the ex-presidents and vice presidents and, you know, because
Yes.
we can't afford that. Um, you
Yeah,
know
the money is needed for the ballroom. Have you not
well,
heard
no,
about
the money is now he's talking about he has 1.2 trillion billion, I don't know, dollars for military stuff because he's
the
working up to a war. Um, and this, you know, hopefully
anything,
this will be stopped.
anything, anything to start a conflict wherever he can so that A, you take your eyes off the prize, which is Epstein, and B, so that he can glorify himself, that he can get something out of it. And yeah, before we move on, yeah, Laura Craft, exactly. Why would he get so close to her car if he had been dragged before? Exactly. Don't you think that?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. So, um, I heard Tim is moving his family out of the U.S.
I heard that too. I hope that doesn't really happen, but you know,
Yeah.
you cannot blame him. I heard that they were that people were driving by his house and calling his son a retard, which is just not right. That's not where his son's at. He's not a retard, and that's a terrible thing to say about anybody, especially somebody that does have some. Uh, I don't know if he's learning disabled or he's got something going on, but I.
I think he's autistic. I
Oh, he might
think
be
that
okay.
he's either
Autistic.
autistic or yeah, on the spectrum or whatnot. But he is he is a living, breathing human being who deserves as much respect as anybody else. And you know what?
Well, and they were trying to make such a big deal about how he reacted when his dad first came out and said he's running for vice president, and his son was so excited. It was just adorable.
Yes,
I mean, he was
exactly.
so excited about what
That's
was
my
going
dad.
on. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yes, because he was reacting. I'm sure that, emotionally, okay, maybe he's not emotionally as old as it says on his birth certificate, but that was a happy child who was proud of his father.
Yeah.
That
And
was
if you
not.
were in his shoes, wouldn't you be too? You know?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought Tim Waltz just seemed like a really wonderful person, and
Yes.
that he's done a lot for his state as a governor, and I
Yes.
was, really hoping, you know, that him and Kamala would be in there right now, but, you know, that didn't happen, but that doesn't mean it couldn't
Yeah.
change. Apparently, I don't know if he'd be out of the country, if he'd be able to be vice president or even run for that again, but, yeah,
Hey, he
so
could come back as long as from what I understand, in order to be president, you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be born in the U.S. He's born in the U.S.
Yeah.
So, he could leave for as long as he wanted, and he could come back and say, "Yeah, okay, I'm back. I am an American citizen. I never gave up my citizenship. I'm
But
back."
I don't know if he would think it was worth it. There's so many people, even a lot of Republicans now are thinking it, rethinking their whole, they don't want to run again. They're giving up their seats in the House. Some of them are senators. So uh, people are just rethinking this whole thing, like, because they can't face themselves. They can't support the lies of Trump and feel good about themselves, feel like a decent human being because they know that it's all nonsense. So
Yeah,
a lot of people are just bowing out, and
yeah,
hopefully,
exactly.
Trump is so worried that the Democrats are going to take over. And he's already told all his Republicans. He said, "You guys got to do something because if the Democrats get in there, they're going to impeach me." And I'm like, "You're damn right they are. You bet
Oh
they
my
are."
God. Oh my God. He got a clue. He got a
Yeah,
clue.
exactly, exactly.
Oh,
When
good for
he's saying
you,
like
God.
this is such a threatening thing that the GOP is just not coming to terms with this and they don't
Yeah,
understand, he'll be out. And I'm thinking, some of your Republican friends are back there going, "Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking forward to." Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Which, by
And
the
that,
way, did we mention the thing about the health insurance, the
no,
Obamacare?
no,
That
we
Obamacare
need
just
to,
today that the House has, I suppose there's other steps they have to go through, but they have come up with something that says we're gonna keep the
yes,
insurance, and a lot of people are just breathing a sigh of relief because they cannot afford the new kind of insurance that, would be what they say, like 4 or 5 times as much money as
yes,
it is right now. So, yeah,
yeah,
there's gonna be some stuff going on with the insurance that so many people have been on pins and needles for months because
yes,
because the GOP wouldn't do anything, and the Democrats
yes,
kept saying, "No, no, no, this is what we gotta do, this is what we gotta do." Finally, a few Republicans came up and changed it so that, that this
yes,
would go through, and so you're not gonna lose your health insurance, right away, and who knows what else
yeah,
they'll come up
yeah,
with.
yeah. At least for now, the Republicans are waking up. They are realizing that with the leader at the helm, that they're not going to get reelected. They're losing. It doesn't matter how much money you're going to throw at it. You're going to lose because you're stealing from people, you're lying to them. It's just so blatantly obvious. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. And he's dangerous. He's dangerous. He goes into Venezuela and kidnaps the leader of Venezuela and his wife,
The president of Venezuela.
the president of Venezuela. Okay, for shits and giggles and entertainment purposes only. Hey, France, you've got an arrest warrant, don't you? You want to talk to Trump about the Epstein files? He's down in Mar-a-Lago. Go get him. Why not? Why not? Right? So yeah, and then he takes the oil and he's going to start something with Russia and China and distraction, distraction, distraction. Anything except pay attention to what I have done, pay attention to what kind of a horrible human being I have, pay attention to the horrible spawn that I have raised. This whole thing with Epstein not only affects him, it affects Melania, it affects his children. I think that there will come a time when, and I said this 4 or 5 years ago, that um, there was something between him and Ivanka, and that it will get to the point that she is, in order to save herself, she is going to reveal that information
Oh,
because
let's hear
he,
that. Let's hear that dirt. I can't
yeah,
wait to hear what
I
she has to say. They're still
yeah,
talking about the insurance, the Obamacare thing, and
yes,
they said it's passed the House, but it's still got to go through the Senate, and then it's got to be
yeah,
signed by Trump. Uh, I think the Senate will pass it through, and I think if they do, that Trump will sign it because if he
he
doesn't,
owns it.
all these people with their insurance, that when they're seeing this stuff getting closer and closer to being good for them, and then he says, "Oh, well, I don't care what they did. I'm not going to sign it." That's not good. That will be very bad for him and the entire Republican Party. So, uh, I do see right now, anyway, right this minute, that's the energy
Yeah,
I'm picking up on, is that the Senate will pass it and Trump will sign it. But if it doesn't go that way, oh boy, oh
oh
boy,
boy,
there's going to
yeah.
be hell to pay.
Mind you, now the and I'm not sure if it's the Senate or Congress or where it is that if they if they pass legislation by a certain vote count, that it makes it veto proof. It makes it so that, yeah, Trump could go in and say, "Oh, I veto," and they go, "Too bad, so sad. We voted on
So
it."
if they have enough votes in favor of something,
I
that he can't do
I
anything
think
about it.
so. I
Okay,
think so, but
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure which branch that would apply.
I think it would
Yeah,
apply that if that could happen and Trump doesn't want it to, that it'll just be, well, we'll wait and see. I'll take it to the Supreme Court.
yeah, yeah. And then that's, you know what? Who knows? I mean, we could be having this discussion today with all our feelings, and please, we could be tomorrow's news. It could be that America begins to play Swan Lake, on the radio because someone is gone. And someone had mentioned earlier about, yeah, I haven't seen any pictures of Putin for a while. Yeah, there's something going on with Putin, and I've said
Yep.
more than once that as soon as one of them goes, the other one follows very, very quickly behind. And yeah, and it's going to include Netanyahu as well, the three of them. But I think if Trump goes first, Putin is right behind him. If Putin goes first, Trump is right behind him, and then Netanyahu is, yeah. They'll be the three of them are going to kind of transition together, the three banditos. Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, we haven't heard much about Putin lately.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. So I'll let you decide if you think that that's going to make a difference. I hope so.
Yeah.
That
Well,
it
I do too because
that he
he's,
may be
again,
he may be laying in a hospital bed or something.
that or something worse, because there
Something
was,
worse.
I think a few days ago, there was a radio station in Russia, and I can't remember what the name of it was, that was playing Swan Lake. And traditionally, Russian media will play Swan Lake when they are announcing the departure of a leader. But this was one of those radio stations that it could have been hacked. Um, there's something. It wasn't officially state run, so there you got to take it with a grain of salt. There's always some room in there, but it's getting close. Um, they're he's not he's got Parkinson's. He's also got something else, some other form of cancer. So, there's it's not like he's certainly not as healthy as Trump, who, according to his doctors, is in the best shape of his life, right? He just tends to fall asleep every couple minutes. But yeah, it it is. It's all going to fall apart. And yeah, Barb Pitt said he seriously wanted the Kennedy resolute deaths for himself. Of course he did. Of course he did. And it was, I don't know if anyone remembers, but way back in the day, uh, he went from claiming that he tried to date the then divorced Princess Di to, oh, yeah, I dated Princess Di. Yeah. Uh-huh. So why didn't you marry her? Like, duh. So,
Wait a
yeah,
minute. Who says they dated Princess Di?
Donald Trump.
Oh, no way. No
I
way.
know. In
Like,
his head, the story that he told himself was, yeah, he reached out to her, he dated her, and it started off as someone said, yeah, that he sent her a note or something. Anyway, he wanted to ask her out, and she never replied. So he took that to mean, oh, good, we're dating. She likes me. So,
wow. Yeah,
yeah,
no, think about what she's
yeah,
like in general and what he's like, and there's no
no,
way in the
never,
world that she would have even considered such a thing. And
never, ever,
if
ever.
she ever did get an invite like that from him in writing, she would find it laughable. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, no,
But that's his, yeah, that's him thinking that, well, if I associate myself with that person, then it's like I take on that person's aura, and whatever reputation um, uh, or history, whatever they have, then that applies to me too. That's why he wants his name on the Kennedy Performing Arts, the Trump, because it's going to associate him with Kennedy. And the Kennedys have always been seen as kind of American royalty. So, couldn't get into the British
aren't the
royalty.
people from the Kennedy Center suing him for that? I don't know where
Um,
that's going, but
you know what?
they
I've
they
heard
said they
different
said they
things.
were going to. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I've heard different things about that. The acts that were scheduled to perform, they have been canceling left, right, and center
Yeah.
and
Yeah. No,
saying, no,
nobody
no,
wants to get
no,
involved in that.
not performing there, right? Because yeah, you don't attach your name to something, um, and all of a sudden think that you are allowed the privilege that was, given
And
to that people.
remember the Kennedy Center, that's a memorial to the Kennedy.
Memorial, yes,
The guy had passed. Um,
yes.
yeah, no,
And he
nobody.
served, and he was the president, and he transitioned in office, and he did a lot of good things, and yeah, he wasn't taking people's health care away, and he wasn't putting ICE agents on the street. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they are suing him, and he was told to remove his name from it. Thank you, Addie's Gifts. Yes, yes,
And of course
absolutely. Yeah,
he complied immediately and took his name up there. No way. No. He couldn't wait to get his name up there, and he'll keep it there for as long as he can. He
yeah.
loves to see his name on a building, and he just
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I think that, you know what, they should put up a small little building, cover it in gold, put some bars on the doors and windows, call it the Trump Memorial peace sanctuary reserved for the king, and tell him that, yeah, there you go. This is yours. This is your kingdom. Come back to your kingdom. And then lock the door behind him.
And I think what he's done in Venezuela is just absolutely
Yeah.
I don't know. There's other presidents that have done stuff with other people, and we've heard those stories now that, to make changes, but I don't know. Trump's thing of doing this right now is just it's kind of bizarre. Can
Yeah.
we at least get the dust to settle over a few other things before you do this? And then dragging Greenland back into this mess.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Not, putting
and
boots on the ground. Yeah,
insisting
that's on the table.
we need Greenland because we need that safety zone. And I don't know what he's talking about, but it's just it's so hard to keep up with all the stuff he wants to do. It's so weird to
Yes.
have somebody that's with dementia and then also hyperactive. So
Yeah.
he can't think of enough things to go for that if everybody else just finds im- deplorable, disgusting.
Exactly.
Uh, we don't
Exactly.
we don't want to make enemies with Greenland, just like we don't want to make enemies with Canada, but that's happening.
Yes.
He doesn't give you guys a choice. He's just so bent on on
Yes.
this thing about tariffs. I'm still waiting to see what, like Costco and a bunch of other big companies are suing him for the
Yes.
tariffs. They want their money back. And I don't know. I think that's kind of banking. I'm talking, I don't have knowledge of this. I'm not really clear what I'm talking about, but something about the Supreme Court is trying to make some decision about something that will make a difference of whether their lawsuits can go through. I did read something about Costco did what they did because they wanted to be on there ahead of time before things changed,
Yes.
in case they did change. So yeah, I mean, he is so busy causing chaos and just making the
Yeah.
country look absolutely horrible. If you remember before he actually came on and he was doing his campaign, he said, if you don't vote for me, we're going to be a third world nation. No, they voted for you. I certainly did not. They voted
Yeah.
for you, and now we are becoming a third world nation. And that's why he just loves to, the Department of Education, all the funding for all the people that, the child
Yeah.
care thing, just every single thing he just can't do enough screw ups and then
Mhm.
look around like, look what I've done for the country. Yeah,
Exactly.
you bankrupt the country. We're going into uh economic downfall. Um no, he's done and made nothing but trouble, and people hate us now. And we're trying to say, no, we didn't really want to do that. Nobody cares what we say because that guy is already doing it. We can't stop him. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Congress gets
Well, not
their
not yet. Not yet. But I think, um the world is paying attention because it for those people who have been complacent up until now, regardless of where in the world that you live, and you take your democracy for granted, and you think that those that you elect to make decisions on your behalf, that they are always going to be high-minded and so on, are being reminded that that is not the case, right? You have to be engaged with the system. You have to make conscious decisions and informed decisions. Not just, someone tells you, oh, yes, and when I'm elected, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Past action is a good indicator of future action. Show me what you've done. If you haven't done anything, if you're a person who has bankrupted 6 or 7 companies, 2 of which were casinos, which is basically a license to print money, you bankrupted them, and you want to take over control of the financial system of a country? No. And yet, how many people bought into that? Well, he's a businessman, and the country should be run like a business. Oh, okay then.
And did
You know,
any president in the last 250 years do that? No.
no.
No other president. They ran the country as a president, not a businessman. And
Yes.
Trump's idea of turn the country into a business, he only does it to make the money for himself. It has
Right.
and
Oh, yeah.
his rich buddies. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with us.
No, you're
Somebody
right.
was
It
saying that
doesn't.
Walmart is talking about moving out of the States, and then somebody else said, it would really put a cinch in his shorts if Walmart moved to Canada. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't you have Walmart in Canada?
yes. Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
They're all over the world too, just like
Yeah.
Amazon and just like
Yeah.
Costco. Costco is all over the world. So,
Costco
yeah,
is all
this
over
is
the world.
just, you know, they're all,
Oh,
it makes perfect sense to me that these people would just say, you know what, the tariffs are too much and it's ridiculous and it's not
yeah.
helping us at all. It's helping you and all this, he's talking about these $2,000 checks or
Yes.
1,700 or give it to the military. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Don't do this.
No.
Don't do the tariffs. You can't pay us back. That's not going to do any good. That $2,000 is nothing. I know that they said from the get go, when we have tariff, it's going to cost you $2,000 more a year. BS, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot more than that. And
Yes.
give you money because you've already put the money. It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
No sense.
Yeah. And it's not like the tariffs are something that is good for a country. It's not good for a country because the price of anything that is tariffed is always passed down to the next in line, who passes it down to the next in line. It's never Most countries will use tariff as a way to punish another country,
Right.
right? You're not dealing fairly with me. You're taking this, you're taking that. Um, so I have to put the tariffs in to punish you to even things out. Even using that logic, this is the second time that he's president. How badly did he screw up the first time that the world is taking advantage of the US? What?
I never understood that thing about that they're taking advantage of us. But the only reason, and everybody knows it, the only reason he's doing tariffs is so that the rich people will have to pay less taxes. If they
Yes.
paid their fair share, and everybody else has to pay no matter what, or they go to jail, um,
Yeah.
we would be just fine. You didn't have to add tariffs to the mix. It's
No.
just, and I think I think most countries we were already paying tariffs, just not ridiculous amounts of tariffs.
Yes.
So, but yes, it's
Yeah.
going to be the consumer that pays for all this stuff.
Of course.
There's
Yeah.
no way around it. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Exactly.
it's just a matter of time. Uh, for some reason, I thought that maybe even by now that we would be further ahead with having him removed. Um, Unfortunately, that maybe they are getting closer and I just don't know about it, but, um, this is what's got to happen, and, I do think something is gonna happen pretty soon, but I don't like to put
Yeah.
a timeline on there or a time thing. Okay, I will say probably within the next 2 to 3 months that we're gonna see some progress in the right direction. Right now, we're just seeing danger signs right now, just
Danger. Yes. Yeah.
but I
And
think
and distraction after distraction after distraction.
but see, there's some people that are looking at the Epstein files, they're not being distracted, they're being disgusted. The other people
Yes.
that are looking at the Jack Smith files and his investigation and what he has to say and what he's shown, they're looking at that too going, "Wow, he knew all along and he lied to us." Now, they may
Yep.
not want to admit that out loud, especially if they're part of the GOP and they probably won't want to say that, but they know it now and they're feeling disheartened. So, and this is what I've said all along that this would happen. This
Yeah.
implosion of the Republican Party, we're working on that right now, and more and more Democrats are being elected, and even Trump said it himself. He's going to be impeached. He
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
Gonna be
Yeah.
he's gonna
He
be
is.
impeached, but I don't know that that's the thing that actually takes him out. I'm just waiting to hear what takes him out. I also heard that, I gotta be careful about how I say this on YouTube, but nobody wants to talk about some kind of interference that we thought was going on. Um, I don't wanna say the word because I've heard that somebody will just remove this video if they hear it. So, but anyway, so there's still stuff going on, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
So
They're
we'll
just
just
as always, know that things are happening in divine time. They are not happening in Marina's time or Cleo's time. They're not happening in
unfortunately.
your time. It's all in. It's part of the divine plan. It's part of the. We we are literally in the age of Aquarius, literally, and that was. I heard about this yesterday when we did Sisters of the Mystical Tarot. And Allie was telling us that she'd had a conversation with oil painter Diana Bowles. And the astrology was that I think it was on the 3rd. I think it was on the 3rd that the moon was in the 7th house
Wow.
and Jupiter aligned with Mars.
Yay! Just like the
And
song says.
yes. And who put out that song way back in 1967? The Fifth Dimension.
Oh, interesting. And yes,
Yes, absolutely.
the
So
Age of Aquarius song, yeah.
we are in the age of Aquarius. Good things are coming. We just have to put up with a little bit of shite for a little bit longer. And is it unfair? Yeah, it may feel like it is, but we're going to make it through this.
Yeah,
We
and
are going to
we've been
make it through
saying
this.
this. I know we've been saying
Yeah.
this for a while, and people are like, "When, when, when?"
When?
Well,
When
it's got to go.
when
It's got to
it's
play out
supposed
its
to.
course. It's got to go
Yeah,
through a course of exactly
yeah,
what we're seeing. Um, but it will happen. I do think obviously it's gonna. I think it's gonna happen this year. But I think
yeah,
it's gonna happen sooner rather than later.
yes,
So
yeah. It
keep
it
keep
is,
the
and
faith. Just keep the faith
yes,
because it will change.
yeah, it absolutely will. So, just remember, this too shall pass. This too shall pass, and do the peaceful protest. Do that you know passive aggressive kind of thing, but just always keep your eye on the prize. And the prize is the information that they don't want to get out, the information that will absolutely destroy him, and know that things are diversions. Everything is a diversion.
And
So,
Connie B said, "This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius."
Age of Aquarius.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, it most totally is. So, anyway, my gosh, we're almost an hour 15. Time flies when you and I are chatting. Haven't pulled a single card, but it just flies.
I've
So, yeah,
connected with my guides quite a few times in this hour and 15 minutes, but yeah, I
good.
didn't need the cards. Sorry.
Good, good. That works. That works. So, thank you, Cleo. I really enjoy doing this, and we'll be doing this again on the 22nd of this month.
I've got that
And
down.
yeah, and Connie B says, pull a card for the collective.
Right. Okay. There you
Okay,
go,
then.
Marina.
Foreign threats. Look, foreign threats. What does that tell you? Foreign foreign governments have the information that he finds very, very threatening.
Yeah. And we've been waiting to hear that one too.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for being here. And, oh, and Connie says, "Oh shit, never mind." That was actually a good. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Take care. We'll see you for kitchen table issues in 2 weeks. Otherwise, we'll see you on the channel somewhere else. Bye for
Right.
now.